What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate all of you hanging out, waiting for the stream to start. This is going to be a fun one today. This was torture for both of us, to be completely honest with you, but still going to be fun nonetheless, and we'll talk about that more as we go along. But if you're stopping by for the replay, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. When we do these live chats in the future, you can definitely take part right along with us. So you saw in the thumbnail and the title, I have my very dear friend Justin joining me for this. We recently did this with Parfums de Marly over on his channel. And if you haven't watched that live stream yet, I strongly encourage you to go check it out. If you have, like, I think we did a little over an hour and a half. If you have a little time to spare, you get bored after this one, please go check it out. It's a good watch. With that one, the difference between this stream and that one is Justin selected 7 specific ones, whereas here it's a free-for-all. It's 7 versus 7, almost a Versens kind of style, like shout outs to EQ Quality Fragrances, somewhat similar to his format in many ways. We're picking our 7 favorites from Roja Dove, from Roja Parfums. We both have quite a few more than the number, so that makes it that much more of a challenge, that much more of a guessing game for everybody watching as well as each other, and just that much more fun because we were just talking about it. We both expect certain things from one another, but you never know how these things are going to shake out. So right before I bring him on, let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm wearing. The new Silent Night from Maison Daba. I am absolutely loving this fragrance. I don't know how many of you saw the shorts video I just put out that I sprayed it on, but the juiciness to this plum without it being too sweet. It's actually a little tart, more so than just juice. It's juicy, but it's not super sweet. Like I said, there's something making it a slightly tart type of smell with a soft and powdery woody smell, nice supportive spice. It's not crazy complex, but the blend balances everything out very well. I smell incredible today. I strongly encourage you guys to check this one out if you haven't yet. I just did a recent live stream 2 days ago on this one. Maison Dava Silent Night. Let's bring on the man of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. If you don't, if you get to know him, you'll love him. It's Justin Copeland from Stay Fresh Productions. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you doing, man?
If I would complain, that would be very selfish of me.
Yeah, the way I see it, we can complain, but it doesn't change anything. So
no one's going to care.
Yeah, but it's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure's always mine. I love when we get together and do these live streams. It's always fun for me. I would like to think you have a pretty good time with it as well. And we got to start things off right, man. What are you wearing today?
Today, I am giving my first wearing to one of the newest from Argos, Fall of Phaeton.
I did see that post, actually.
Yeah, this is the first wearing. I actually did film a first impressions video as a short, which I'll probably put out next week. And then after that, I'll integrate it into some more longer content. But yeah, first wearing, I actually went pretty light on it. Because my first testing, I'm like, this stuff is pretty strong. So I'm just wearing 2 sprays, and I'm smelling it. Yeah, I'm smelling it around me, and it's so different. I don't even really know how to describe it just yet.
What are your initial thoughts? And I'll give you mine, because I've worn it one time so far. I did a first impressions plus a full wearing.
Yeah. Well, my first impression, first impressions, it was a little odd. At least up close, I was like, it has some element to it that was just like, what am I smelling here? Now, as expected, with the first wearing, I'm not smelling it up close. So I'm getting more of a realistic impression of it, more of a balanced impression of the scent. And again, it's unlike anything I've really smelled before. It has this, it has that Argos DNA, this really kind of intensified, like thick, musky base that Argos has for sure. But on top of that is this like sweet resinous, like a labdanum kind of leathery resinous feel, but almost fruity in a way. But I don't even remember what the notes are. I didn't take a good look at them, but there is a darkness that comes out a little bit more on the skin as it sits. So yeah, I just can't wait to get to know it better. It's intriguing.
So for me, do you get a lot of creaminess from it?
When in my first impressions video, the first thing
I thought there was his Mysore. I thought his Mysore sandalwood was in there. It's not in there.
Interesting. Yeah, when I first sprayed it, the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, smells like fruits and cream. Like it was like peaches and cream or strawberries and cream or raspberries and cream, whatever I said. And then that kind of faded away, but it stays real smooth for sure.
So for me, I mean, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. Incense, smoky nuances really pop off of me. It's very smoky, creamy, a little spiced and fruity, like you were saying, the fruitiness on my skin. I want to
Yeah.
say it might be maybe the musk that he used or something. The lab, I don't know what to attribute because it's so creamy, but there's no usual suspects
Yeah.
for that level of creaminess to an aroma. It is so captivating because you typically don't get really smoky with that level of creamy and sweet.
Exactly. Smoky usually comes with dryness, and it's not dry, really.
Usually you need something to take the dryness away just to make
Yeah.
it bearable for most people
Yeah.
when it's like that. But here it's such a unique blend. It's so
Agreed.
very captivating. I could see how
Yeah.
this would be a lot of people's instant favorite from the brand. Christian is on fire this fall. I've said it so many times, when he said the fall will be Argos's season, he was not making that. He was not just blowing smoke. They
Yeah.
have been just incredible release after one after another.
Truly. All unique, all thoughtful, all complex, each telling their own story. And, you know, some people might think like, well, they're so close together in terms of release, like,
I know.
but it's like he's been sitting on these for years now because of various things that kind of got in the way that delayed the process of release. And now it's just like he's popping open the box, you know, Pandora's box and letting it all out. And it's incredible. And obviously, I know we both still have yet to smell two of them.
Yes.
Nemian and Triumph of Bacchus X Straight, which I'm really excited for.
I already
Really,
know because that's the one I'm anticipating the most. It's going to be the last one I get.
Of course.
I already know it.
That's how it goes.
But I have a feeling I'm going to be literally blown away because I don't know the term, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? How can you make that better? Even cranking up the oil concentration is already immensely strong and long lasting. How can you make something like that better than it was before? And he's confident. And I know there's others that have tried it. I just haven't. I'm avoiding any and all opinions.
Likewise.
I want to be totally blind going into it. I haven't looked at the notes even. I'm sure it's very similar.
Yeah.
But I'm prepared to be completely captivated and floored because I don't think he would do it unless he can improve it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Based on knowing how he likes to operate. There's no way he would do this and it not be a step up.
Totally. Yeah. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
So great to see everybody in the chat. So since I have a guest, obviously we're not going to stay on top of the chat the entire time. As we usually do, we'll do a little Q&A towards the end after we get through the topic. So I appreciate all of you for being here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up real quick if you don't mind. As fast as you can blink is as fast as you can click that thumbs up. It takes just a brief split second of your time. So I think it's only fair that we go guests first. Let me go ahead and reiterate what we're doing here today before I get you to jump into your first one. So we did Parfums de Marley on Justin's channel. Once again, I strongly encourage all of you to go check that out. That was a great time. But there, it was 7 specific Parfums de Marley fragrances that Justin chose, whereas here it's a free-for-all. 7 favorites. Torment yourself and pick your 7 favorites, and let's talk about it is basically what's going on here today. Now, admittedly, we did get these sent to us over the years. That's not a secret. We're always very transparent with you guys about that when we get them. So it's not like we've dropped thousands and thousands of dollars on these bottles. The only bias here is just which one makes us happier than the next one. That's where the top 7 comes from, basically. So any of you that haven't experienced anything from Roja Dove, strongly encourage you seeking out decants. There's a lot of great places to get some decants. And Justin, you're a decant X kind of guy for the most part, right?
They got everything I need.
And what's your code? Stay Fresh 10?
Stay Fresh 15.
15%.
Yeah, get you 15% off if you want. You know, I don't see why you wouldn't, but it's there.
So if you're interested in checking any of these out, obviously I would suggest that be the first place. You help support Justin, and it's a very viable place that I know a lot of people get decants from. decantx.com, Stay Fresh 15. So let's go ahead and jump into that first one, Justin. What's number 7? I can't wait to see what you brought here.
Well, as Ross and I were discussing just a bit ago, this was borderline impossible.
Maybe.
And yeah, I mean, people can draw their assumptions and say, well, you guys are biased. These are gifted perfumes. Like, of course, you're going to like them because you guys like everything that is free. It's like,
Bunch of big shills. Yeah.
we don't need to, that's for another stream. Obviously it's not the case there. We don't like everything we get, but
Indeed.
there's a lot that I like from Roja. Likewise with Ross. I've been a fan of Roja for years and years now and haven't loved everything and have been upfront about that, but I've loved a lot. So choosing just 7, really, really hard. My number 7 is one that doesn't get a ton of talk. And it is a Midsummer Dream.
Never tried it.
This, I'm actually going to give it a quick little spray here. This is not one I admittedly wear all the time. I tend to save it for this time of year as well as the spring, not really thinking about it much in the summer.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is it really all that summery? Because his fragrances, even the fresh ones, are pretty dense.
It's pretty dense. If this is summery, it's summer night. And, you know, the way the picture it paints for me is perfect for a summer night. But I think it works fall and spring too. Winter, it's fine, but it doesn't have quite the oomph, or at least in terms of its personality, that I would choose to wear for winter. But gosh, this is, it's a little odd. It's one of the most unique fragrances I've smelled from the brand. It is a blend of spices, lots of cardamom. So cardamom is bringing us a touch of freshness, maybe with some citruses like a pop of grapefruit or something. But cardamom and elemi resin working together, bringing this fresh but kind of piney, but also balsamic feel, and a lot of rose. And there's like a big floral heart to it. It adds a little bit of sweetness, but it's a soft sweetness. It's definitely more of a floral sweetness than it is like a vanilla or amber or something like that. And there's a lot of woods, a lot of warm woods. So it wears both kind of fresh and warm at the same time. It's a little bit floral sweet. The rose in here is more of a fresh rose than like a jammy rose.
More of something along the line of like a Turkish or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And there is this like this sheep feeling. So like a dusty dryness, like an oak moss or something kind of up close. It's almost stuffy, but in a very elegant way. But it is very dry, dusty, woody. Again, it's kind of hard to explain. The way it all comes together is really unlike anything else I've tried. It's a beautiful scent, and it is very elegant. And yeah, I think it's perfect day or night, fall and spring, and for nighttime, perfect in the summer.
Okay, well, that's one that I've been asked. I would say as far as ones I've never tried, that's probably the main one I've been asked my opinion on. I literally, Ronaldo said he's shocked, borderline triggered that I've never tried it because he loves it. You know, borderline triggered.
Oh, man. It's serious.
So the king of the super chat has arrived, Mr. Volcanus, making his presence known with $10 as he usually does. Wearing Gentleman Reserve Privé, Enigma is the best damn Roja, damn near the best fragrance. Wow. You never know. You may see one of the versions of it pop up here in this list, or maybe it got omitted by both of us. You never know. You gotta stay tuned to find out.
We will see.
Lizzie, good to see you as well.
Good to see you, Liz.
You try Solar Blue. By my own admission, I've only tried 5 Rojas, and they're the ones most people have tried, like Apex, Elysium, and so on. So yeah, I can guarantee you what you're going to see here, Randy. Something's going to spark your interest, and these are on a different playing field than the ones you just listed. I enjoy all of what you've listed. I like both versions of Apex. I like all 3 Elysiums. You might see an Elysium. You never know. But the majority of what's going to be in this stream is true complexity and depth for what this brand really has to offer. That I can guarantee you without even knowing the rest of his picks and knowing what I have next to me. There's some lovers of this as a hobby, the enthusiast level. There's true olfactive journeys to have with these scent profiles because he makes them so deep, and there's some real complexity to a lot of these.
Yep, no denying it.
And with that said, for the 7 that I picked, because some of these are going to surprise some of my regular viewers, that some are omitted that you're expecting probably, and some, there's a few you're definitely expecting to see from me. But I've said countless times, this is my favorite oud rose of all time, and it's amber oud.
Ooh.
I have to have this here. This is the most delicious rose heavy fragrance. Justin, it's fig and rose at the top. It's so juicy, fruity, thick and jammy. And then it's loaded down with saffron, benzoin, oud, a smoky birch. This is the most intoxicating oud rose combination I've ever smelled. Literally comes with a card warning you to not spray your garments because it will stain. That's a natural color. That is not color dyed. Totally. Do you have this one?
So I only have that one in Discovery atomizer form, which I've had for years. And it is opulent. It is so beautiful.
It is.
And I do remember, I think I spoke about it in a video a couple years ago, and I said, like, oh, you know, if you take the name for what you see, you think, oh, amber and oud.
It's not as amber heavy as you expect. No.
I had someone correct me, and they're saying it's actually more ambergris. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I went back to the scent, and there is that kind of wispy, airy, salty, musky quality that kind of gives the scent. It's almost the shell of the scent. And inside of that shell is that rich, kind of sweet, you know, rose. And
this is a less is more fragrance.
Yeah.
The sillage is pure magic. You don't overwhelm people with this one. Let them discover it. Let them find it. They will ask you.
Yeah.
All of these, well, almost every single one of these are super situational for me. They're not ones I wear all the time. They're very, very special to me. So I feel the need to have something special going on to wear them. This being one of them, pretty much strictly in the winter, because it does wear pretty heavy for being as juicy and fruity of a rose as I'm saying. It's a heavy composition. It wears as such. It's not filling a room, but it's staying in the room after you walk out of it. It's that kind of sillage. This is magnificent. This is one of, if you were to ask me what's 5 I should get decants of to try from the house, this is probably the first one coming out of my mouth. I'm going to say amber oud because it's that good to me, which, I mean, the way I'm praising it, you'd probably be surprised. You're probably thinking, why is it number 7? That's how good my 7 are.
Yes.
That's how I can answer that. That's how good
small margins, guys. Small margins.
So yes, very much, because these top 7, number 10 captivates me the same way number 7 does. It's just not everything can be in the top 7, right?
Exactly.
So do yourself a favor. If you're tired of the countless oud rose combinations out there and you want a truly exceptional experience, what I believe to be the upper echelon of the style, please get an ML and try this. The problem is, if you fall in love with it, even from discounters, it's several $100s. You can get smaller bottles. Like if you were to get the 30, I believe they have a 30 milliliter that's got the little gold plate. You're still going to spend a decent amount, but that 30 milliliter bottle is going to last you years.
You can pass it on to your kids.
Yeah, it's going to last. I don't do more than 4. You know, 4 is it's all day until I take my shower, no matter what, whether it's 10 hours, 12 hours, 15, it doesn't matter. It's still there.
Yes.
And the sillage continues to linger. It has that, like I said, that magic to it that a lot of people are looking for in a special experience. And that's just how I feel about this one.
Agreed.
Amber oud.
Yes. Yeah. And they also have some great travel atomizers. I think they're 7.5 milliliters.
ml.
You can get them on their website too. They're not cheap by any means, but still, that even might last you a couple years, honestly.
Yeah, especially these heavier scents like this that have that real staying power. And like I said, guys, it's a less is more fragrance. Don't go trigger happy spraying this 10, 15 times. You're just wasting. You're being wasteful at that point. You're not going to have a better experience than you would with 3 sprays.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Roja, for the most part, for maybe not every fragrance that they produce, because this can't be true for any brand, but for the most part, I feel like when you smell a Roja, when you get a Roja, you smell it, and you wear it, you feel like you got what you paid for. They smell expensive.
Super expensive.
They smell luxurious. And the fact that they linger in the air when a luxury fragrance has that lingered, the sillage, whatever you want to call it, you can tell there's a difference between, you know, how Paco Rabanne 1 million lingers in the air and a Roja lingers in the air. Then the way it plays and dances with your nose, you don't get smacked in the face by it. Anyway, can go on and on.
The closest you'll find to what has like somebody walking by and thinking there's a shot in hell you're wearing a designer fragrance would be maybe an Elysium Parfum Cologne or something like that. When you start getting into some of the ones we're talking about here today, that's why I say you kind of got to dress the part and have the right situation with a lot of these, because they're not t-shirt fragrances. These aren't golf shirt fragrances. These are you're stepping out. You want to separate yourself, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you have next for us, Justin?
Well, speaking of oud and rose, this might be one that I don't know if you've tried this one as well. This is from his Gulf collection, and it's UAE, United Arab Emirates.
I have not.
Man, all of them are based on oud. All of them are, from what I understand, at least all the three I have are rose ouds of some kind, but they're all different. This one, ooh, oh man!
Look at the reaction we're getting here. He can't even get a note outside of saying there's an oud fragrance. Just
to give you guys a little disclaimer about this one, my wife is also a big Roja fan. Mm-hmm. Whether she's wearing some, she has her own that she wears. She loves when I wear them. She can always tell when I'm wearing a Roja because she knows the quality in the air. But this one, for whatever reason, she has said this multiple times, this is her favorite one that I wear, which still blows me away because I'm like,
I'm kind of surprised because I know some of your favorites that you reach for more, and that's not one of them.
This is one for her. When I wear this, she's like, that's my favorite one.
And that's when you want her to stay next to you all night.
Yeah.
You know you're pulling her in with that one.
So this is, it's a warm, spicy rose oud. There is some cloves in here, a little bit of freshness. You know, there's one fragrance that the brand just released. I think it was last year. If maybe it was earlier this year, it was called Taif Oud.
Taif Oud. Like I really wanted to try that one.
And that one is basically a re-release of what was an exclusive for a store. I don't remember which store now, but that fragrance is basically a fresher version of this one. They are almost identical, to be honest. That Taif Oud has more of like an aldehydic kind of lightness to it. This does not have aldehydes in it, so it has a little bit more core to it. The oud here is yes, yeah. I mean, this is a trail for sure. Mm-hmm. The oud here is definitely borderline funky, just a little bit of edge to it. But it ultimately makes it smell more expensive, if you're asking me.
So I have a question.
Yes.
When you say funky, because there's levels to that term when we're talking oud, can you elaborate a little further on what do you mean by funky? A little funky. What kind of funk? Obviously, I don't mean fecal. That's not where I'm going.
No. Yeah. It's more of a. This doesn't sound great, but it's more of like a soil funk, more like a natural, a natural soil funk rather than something that's off or
almost that's like unclean. Damp earth.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like unclean or anything like that. It's something that when you smell it, it kind of tickles your nose hairs a little bit. You're just like, ooh,
I can relate to it.
You know what I mean? But
Justin's voice is like ASMR, smooth like jazz. He's been hearing that his whole life, Randy. I promise you.
at least since post-puberty, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is kind of more of a jammy rose in this case, almost fruity leaning, but with this warm spiciness, with this slightly darker, soily, but still elegant oud that is definitely more, I'd say, more upfront than it is in like amber oud, for sure. It is more oudy.
Yeah, because this is amber oud's not super oud.
Yeah, but the way it lingers in the air, I think it's really the sweetness. In the air, I mostly get the rose and the oud together. When you get up close, you get more, but the sweetness, but there's like this wispy quality in the way it lingers. It's just magic, and for some reason drives Grace crazy. So there's that. That's my number
So it's
6.
basically an aphrodisiac for your wife. Kind of pheromonal in some ways.
Yes, for sure. Also, the Gulf collection, as you'll see, guys, if you do research it, is very expensive. Very expensive. I want to say the 50 mil, they're all 50s, and I think they're over 500 a piece, if I'm not mistaken, if not more. So, am I saying run out and get this? Please, no. If you can get yourself a decant, I think Decant X might even have decants of these. Check it out, and it's not going to be like a $5 decant, but it'll be worth the experience.
2 ml is probably like $25. Yeah. So AJ says, "Love me some good wispy funk."
That's a cool term.
So Terrence has Taif Oud on the way. He said that in a previous comment. He said it's so amazing. I put that on this morning. Oh, he's talking about different fragrance there, but oh my God, I got that Taif Oud coming. It's so good. And now he's saying it's worth the $800 to him. So I haven't tried it. So apparently it's an experience worth having. But this man straight up dropped $800 on it. He loved it so much.
You know, it is beautiful. And it does come in 100 mil. So, but still 800. Good Lord. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's dedication to a scent right there.
If I had to choose between the two by a small margin, I would choose this one. However, I think some people might find the Taif a little bit more versatile because it's less thick, a little more airy, on the fresh side.
That's probably a good thing. Yeah, for the wearability side of it. That's probably the one that would make more sense for me.
Yeah.
So speaking of things that make more sense for me, so I think some people were expecting to see one of these from me, and I know you haven't tried this. I did not remember last time we hung out to bring it. If and when it happens again, I need to remember this because you need to experience it. It is the ultimate. I don't care what anybody says. He'll never make a better Elysium than the Parfum.
Okay.
I like O Intense for its quirkiness, that sour rhubarb heavy top that it has. I quite love the O Intense. And I mean, anybody that doesn't like the Parfum Cologne is just a hater.
They're lying. Yeah.
They're all good.
It's okay to not love it, but you can't say you don't like it.
Yeah. Come on now. Let's be honest with each other here. Stop trolling.
Yeah.
But the citrus is sweeter here. It's heavier. It's the full Parfum concentration. It doesn't have that. Now, the Parfum Colognes are Parfums, but it's the way he blended them. They have a certain freshness to the top.
Yep.
But here, I get serious longevity. I get every bit of 10 to 12 hours of longevity out of this one. The citrus is so much thicker. You still have that metallic blackcurrant smell to it. But here your grapefruit and the other citruses come in more. It's not just grapefruit. It comes across almost a little fruity more so than just citric. You know what I mean? With citrus, it's more that sharp juiciness, whereas fruits come into play. It comes across sweeter.
No bitterness or anything like that.
And that's basically what it is here. He's got several that really draw me in because they're a sweeter citrus, because they're just a heavier concentration. And that's pretty much here. This is, and I haven't wore it in a while, and when I did the full review, I said this about it, and I still believe it to be true, that it's, I'll say arguably at this point, the best opening I've ever smelled.
Wow.
It's that good. It's all the great things anyone's ever heard about the Blue Bottle, but it's superior, heavier version. It's weird the way he released them.
Yeah.
It was like he did with Apex, where they were very close together.
Those were released to get literally together,
literally at the same time. Yeah. Whereas at least you had 6 months with Apex. At least you had that. But here, they're about as different as Apex is to Apex Parfum, whereas it's a sweeter citrus. It's not fruity like you don't have pineapple, but it's just incredible the way this came. It doesn't get any love because people look at it as it's a freshie. I don't want to spend that kind of money, but I'll be damned if you have this experience and can't tell me it's not worth at least getting a few ml. I'll be damned. It's hard for me to believe because it's so enjoyable. Now, look, performance is going to vary from person to person. I'm saying I get 12 hours. You might get 6 and call me a liar. I'm not lying. You just get 6 and I get 12. We deal with that kind of stuff, guys.
Yes.
So you have to justify if it's worthy for you. For me, this is one that if I had got the experience, I still would have gotten a bottle from discounters.
Mm-hmm.
I would own this. This is one I would absolutely buy for the 200-300 bucks, 250, 300, 350, whatever it is from discounters. This is probably the only freshie I've ever come across that I think is worth $300, $400 to buy out of pocket, because I enjoy it that much. So this one this was a no-brainer. This was literally the first fragrance I grabbed. Well, second. This was the second fragrance I grabbed when I was compiling this list, because this was definitely going to be here. There was no thought of it could get bumped by anything else. My number one and this, it's like, all right, now I have to build the other 5 is basically what it came down to. That's how I feel about this one. But with that said, it's also my number 6. So I guess that could be a little confusing the way I'm presenting it, but
no, it makes sense.
There's more captivating stuff ahead of this.
Mm-hmm.
But this is possibly the best fresh fragrance I've ever smelled. So that's why it had to be here. So this is one that I encourage you guys to try. Don't listen to, even take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but for the love of God, don't just believe anonymous profiles on the internet. Get your nose on this one and experience it for yourself, because I truly believe this to be the ultimate version of Elysium. And it was before Isola Blue and Oligarch came around. This was my highest. This and Danger Parfum were my 2 highest rated. I give them 9.5s out of 10. Obviously, that's an objective, opinionated thing, but that's how strongly I feel about this one. Like, I don't know if it can get better, because Eau Intense isn't better than this. Parfum Cologne isn't better than this. Again, opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But please try this Elysium Parfum. It's the unhyped, deserving of hype fragrance from him. It's because of the money it won't get the love it deserves, in my opinion.
Admittedly, as you said, I have not tried it. And it is so interesting to me. That's a very great point you made, how no one really talks about it. All you see is the Parfum Cologne, and I understand why, as you just said, it is more accessible. Like, literally,
but there's such a difference in the way they come across, and like they wear differently. They smell of the same DNA family, but they are a different experience.
Yeah, for sure. And when you put the two together, Parfum Cologne and Parfum, you have a lot of people who judge the Parfum Cologne as a standalone fragrance and just saying, oh, it's too light, it doesn't last. And it's like, no, it is in the lane it was created to have. If you want more, go to the Parfum. That's why, and I see why, that's why he put them out, and which was actually really clever, because it's like, okay, I made this profile, I have this vision for it. I know people are going to complain about this. I know they're not like everyone's going to love it. Like, a lot of people will, but it was smart. So for those who are like, Parfum Cologne lasts 8 minutes and is gone, first of all, get your nose checked. If that doesn't work, check out the Parfum. Again, this is from someone who hasn't tried it, but I can just tell just by testing other parfums from the brand. Like, I know exactly.
Versus the way the Parfum Colognes are, because you have a lot of the Parfum versions.
Yeah.
Like, you have Scandal, right?
Yes.
I know you have Danger. Do you have Enigma? Me either.
No, not the Parfum. Not the Parfum.
So you have 3. I have the 4th. So neither of us have Enigma. Basically, that's the missing link.
Yep.
Well, and Vetiver, neither, because we both have Danger. So yeah, so we're missing Vetiver and Enigma. One of us we each need to pick one and get them so we can share them.
Exactly.
That's when it comes down to Climatic. Thank you so much for super chat. Yes. Jared dropped $20 a little while ago.
Good to see you.
I appreciate you guys. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah.
So here we go. Yeah, that's so great. You got me on that. That's worth $400, Elysium Pour Homme. I bought the 7.5 ml sample, and that lasts on my skin so much longer than the original Elysium. That's the thing. If people would go ahead and spend the money on 2 ml, because when you think about it, it's probably $20-$25 to get 2 ml of that fragrance, $18, something like that. It's more than people would want to spend on 2 ml. I get it. But if you smell it and put it on your skin and spend a little time with it, I'm confident more people would be like, son of a bitch. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to buy a bottle of this. I have to have it. Yeah. I really think that would be the case more times than not. It's that good to me. It just doesn't get any love whatsoever. So what do you have for us next, my man? Because we're ramping it up now.
Yeah, this is technically the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So number 5, one that was just recently mentioned, Danger.
There it is.
Parfum. And my first experience with this DNA was the Parfum Cologne, which I also have.
Mm-hmm.
And the Parfum Cologne is lovely. And I think
it's
it
more
is
wearable.
Yes, it is a perfect.
I wear it more.
It does what it's supposed to do very perfectly. It's a brighter, more just pop type of version of the scent. It's less dense. What I would call this is like an amber fougere. So it does have this kind of fresh, creamy, spicy barbershop quality to the scent. There is a level of cleanliness here. You definitely get more of it in the Parfum Cologne, but there is this rich, warm, vanilla-like ambery sweetness. And I think there's quite a bit of cumin.
I sprayed it last night. It was on my hand when I went to the gym this morning still.
Yes,
that
cumin.
I was waiting on you to say the word cumin.
Yes, the cumin in here is what will throw some people off. And I am a person who's not really turned away by cumin for whatever reason.
It's loaded with clove too. It's a cumin clove combination.
Definitely. Those warm spices are not shy here.
No.
For sure. And if you smell it up close, especially the Parfum, if you put this on your hand and you do that, good luck, my friend.
Look, early it's fine, but a few hours in when it's all clove and cumin.
Yeah, I mean,
I put these together maybe 3 or 4 hours before I went to sleep, and that's when I sprayed. I can't pull this bottle to the side. I can't touch it and not spray it. That's the one that I sprayed.
Yes,
it was still in my hand this morning, and it was a little powdery at that point. But we're talking 13, 14, 15 hours later. It was still very noticeable off of my hand, but midway through the life of that, it's all cumin and clove on my skin.
To some people, it definitely can smell a little bit mature, stuffy, old manish, as people say. To me, it just smells sophisticated, especially when it's done in subtlety. When you don't, as long as you don't do that, it's not going to really offend anyone. It just smells pleasantly elegant. It smells sophisticated, maybe a little bit more mature, but not old-fashioned or anything. And admittedly, it does remind me pretty heavily of a Guerlain, which I believe is Heritage. I think that's the one.
Don't you have that one?
I do have Heritage. And
like recently you got that, right? Within the last few months?
Sometime this year.
I did get bottle, right? Where it's in
not the new
bottles.
It's the long one.
So it's
the tall one. Yes. Gotcha. Let me make sure that some people I know will probably chime in and say, yup or nope, you're stupid.
No, do you think? While you're doing that, Randy asked if we've tried the new Guerlain high-end fragrance, Tobacco Honey or Tonka Imperial.
Not yet.
Bottles look great.
Yes.
I love those bottles.
Yeah, I just saw Parfumo. They just flooded all these new releases coming from Guerlain. Yeah, it is Heritage. And I think it is pretty common knowledge that Roja worked for Guerlain in some capacity.
He was a salesperson for them, like a higher level sales, like regional or something like that, I think.
Definitely. And there's several of his fragrances that are essentially modeled after some of Guerlain's classics, but they do have a Roja identity to them. I would say Heritage might be a little bit more approachable than Danger to the average person. But
according
Danger
to Philip,
just has
he's saying you're butchering it. Is it not pronounced Heritage? Is he assuming it's Heritage?
Philip,
that's how I take that. Like he thinks it's Heritage. I believe it's Heritage.
It's French, my friend.
Yeah, it's French.
But go ahead and chime in, Philip, if you want to hop in the live. And
I mean, there's it's fine. Not wrong. I mean, I would, if on paper, I would think Heritage too.
Ultimately, it's kind of tomato.
Well, when it comes to these French houses, the creators are pronouncing it as a French human accent. So yeah, they're saying Heritage. Heritage.
Heritage.
Yeah. Heritage.
So whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. Yeah, but Danger is awesome. Super classy stuff and great for fall. So I plan on wearing that a little bit more this season. That's my number 5.
Super elegant. Super
Yeah,
elegant. The first time I smelled it was with Justin, guys. And I was
that's right.
anticipating it. It was a Raja blind smelling rate me and Andrea did with him. And there's even a B-roll of
Mhm.
us saying, "Man, I hope we get to smell danger."
It was
Then we
incredible.
did.
And I think it is one of those instances, and this doesn't happen all the time, where you anticipate smelling a fragrance so heavily, you
You
finally
start looking
smell it.
for it in others.
Yeah, you start, and when you do smell it, it actually exceeds your
Yeah.
expectation. That doesn't always happen, and you can see it on camera when Ross smelled. He was like,
I was so
"What?"
excited because I asked him to bring it because I didn't have it yet. I asked him to bring it. And I knew at some point I was gonna get to smell it. And we were doing a Raja video. So I'm like, can't wait. Because at that point was when I really started going through some sprays in the Parfum Cologne, which is like I said before, so much more wearable. But the Parfum is just so much more special. Like Justin was saying, a more mature fragrance because it's a lot more cumin and clove. And
Mhm.
that is not for everybody. Those are two notes that are very polarizing. And then you get a hefty dose of both. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is not for just the regular old like, I'm looking for girls tonight. Like, good luck.
Heritage. Oh, and so he's talking about the H being silent. That makes sense. Heritage. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't
Like
call it a
Hermes.
butchering. I wouldn't call it a butchering, but cool.
No, but I
That's
get where
fine.
he's coming from now. I thought he
Yeah,
might have meant like heritage, but no, he meant the H being silent. That makes sense.
yeah. I mean, if we were up here saying heritage, I think that would be a butchering.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
heritage,
Thank
I
you for
think
clearing that up, Philip.
is yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're close enough to
Yeah.
deserve half a gold star, maybe. I don't know.
Half a gold star. Yeah. Get a cat sticker that says you're possum.
All right, man. What you got
So
at
so
number
with that,
5?
the freshest of the fresh Oceania.
Was
This is
expecting
such a
that to
love.
come.
I
It
spent
is.
the summer with this. I haven't been wearing it. Like the little bit of a dent that's in
Hmm.
there, that's from some 2 summers ago when I first got this. This is just such a vibe. This is one of those fragrances. There's nothing like crazy unique about it aside from the aquatic nature with the lack of aquatic notes. That still impresses
Hmm.
me every time I smell it. Loads of citrus, very, very airy. The performance characteristics of this one continue to surprise me because it does not wear heavy at all.
Mm.
Very light and airy fragrance.
Yep.
But it stays for a really, really like 10, 11 hours in. I can still smell it, just a random whiff. If a breeze catches or I walk into a well circulated room, it's very interesting the way that kind of works out. But the florals here, like when you see things like iris and violet, you're going to think, it's powdery, floral, girly fragrance. No, it's
No.
just as soapy as it is powdery, the way the florals come across.
Hmm.
God, it's so good. This is a linen button down with a few buttons, sleeves maybe rolled up with some nice, above the knee casual shorts of some kind out,
Yes.
out on the coast. That's kind of the vibe of
Totally.
this.
Totally.
Warm day, out and about, doing things, not just a typical casual day, more of like you have something going on, not necessarily a productive day, but like you're not just running around doing errands kind of casual day, I guess would be the way
Sure.
I would put that.
For
Beautiful,
sure.
beautiful fragrance. Doesn't get enough love. Do you have this one, Justin?
Oh yeah. I have this one. Grace is also a big fan of when I
Very
wear
unisex
that.
fragrance too.
Yeah.
Everybody can enjoy
Yeah.
this.
It is such a smile in a bottle. When you smell it, you
Yeah.
smile. You can't help it. It lifts your mood. Honestly, to me, if I can show you, it kind of smells like this little patch of blue sky with cloud right here. That's what it
That's
reminds
fair.
me of. It just reminds me of just open skies, clear blue water, a little maybe some clouds in there. That's okay. Some white fluffy clouds.
A
Not
nice
overly.
misty breeze.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
some people who, if you haven't smelled it, you could be thrown off by the name. It does not smell aquatic. Technically, there's
there's a watery tone to it, but
yeah.
it's not like some oceanic marine fragrance.
No, it
Definitely not.
doesn't smell
No
maritime or
saltiness or
salty.
anything like
Yeah.
that. No.
Yeah. It is reminiscent of water. It is reminiscent of a bright, sunny day on water, but it
That's why I
doesn't
say
smell like, yeah,
coastline,
for
not
sure.
necessarily on the beach in the water, coastline
For
type of
sure.
setting.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Some of the most naturalistic citruses on the top. That lemon and just like it's mouth watering. It's really beautiful.
Without being sharp, There's nothing tart here. It's all very smooth. It's just
Mm-hmm.
as citric and acidic as it is sweet and smooth. Like, it's a nice balance. It's not overdone either way. It's just, like, it's smooth from start to finish. A nice musk as it dries. Beautiful. It's deep. It's rich. It's got a lot of nuance to it, but it doesn't really smell busy. It's such a vibe. I had to have this one, even though I haven't been wearing it much lately. But there was a particular summer when I first got it. I kept going back to it. I was wearing it at least once a week all through the summer. It's just so good. But yeah, Oceania, that is my number 5.
That's a great choice. I was expecting it to see, and honestly, that almost made my list. It was this close. It was so close because I do love that fragrance. I love the way it makes me feel.
It's such a good one.
It is. Number 4 for me is one that is all too perfect for the current season and upcoming season. If you do live in a place that has 4 seasons, you don't see talk about this one much. Reckless.
That's what I put in the thumbnail. I figured it would have made you 7.
Yeah. Man. Now, I did have Ross first smell this in a video on my channel, probably sometime last year, early. I don't remember when it came out.
It was 2020.
Maybe early. Yeah.
Early
and I think it was the last fragrance in the video I had you smell. No, I think it was.
No, it was
maybe
before
late.
the fragrances release. It was 2021.
Maybe it was before the second round of fragrances. So I think it was 2022.
It's been a while.
That video.
Yeah,
but it was the last fragrance I had Ross smell in the video blindly, and he was like, "This beats all the rest." Yeah. He was like,
"That's why I put it in the thumbnail, because I knew it was going to be here. I knew it."
This is, it's just this warm, spicy, elegant monster of a fragrance. It is a sheep. It has that oak mossy bed, very dry. Gosh. The warm spice, I'm trying to think, there could be a lot of cloves in here too. There's something about it that I think up close some people may not love. It does have that kind of gentlemanly, sophisticated feel some might call mature. But if you love like the idea of an elegant, complex, sophisticated, warm, spicy, slightly sweet fragrance for the fall, this one is great, and no one is really chatting about it. This stuff is,
even on a test strip, it blew me away. I was like, wow, this is the best fragrance in this video. And I knew right away. I said, I think even in the video, I said, this is Reckless, isn't it? I think I did. I'm pretty sure I called it out.
Maybe, I think so.
I had been anticipating to smell it because I've seen you praise it several times. So I knew you really enjoyed it. And I think we were doing a Roja Parfums. It might have been an evening fragrance. I don't remember. I don't think it was specifically.
I think it was just a random assortment. It was a random assortment of stuff. Stuff is so. If you guys haven't tried it yet, again, don't blind buy it. Get you a sample.
No,
not guaranteeing you're gonna love it, but I think you'll find it interesting at the very least.
So Randy, there is the next one is the first repeat of the video so far, but we also have, while we do have a lot of the same from the house, we also have quite like, I don't have Reckless, I don't have a Midsummer's Dream, I don't have UAE. There's certain ones that each of us don't have. But one thing that is for certain is we both really love Danger Parfum. Mine's ranked a little bit higher than Justin.
Yeah, good stuff.
This and Elysium were my first 2 highest rated, because I've done several individual reviews on the house. I did the entire Parfum Cologne line years ago.
Likewise.
I've done several of these other individual parfums, and Elysium Parfum and this one, both 9.5s out of 10. They were my 2 highest rated, like I said, until Isola Blue and Oligarch came around, which everybody knows that's the only 10 I've ever given. So anybody that watches the channel knows that's the only 10. Any of you just list viewers that watch actual reviews, you know. It's
a dying breed.
So with this, like I was saying, I sprayed this on my hand last night. I kind of gave it away when I said I couldn't grab the bottle and not spray it. This is a polarizing fragrance. If you have experience with the red bottle, the Parfum Cologne, that does not guarantee you're going to like this. If you could love that. That could be your favorite Roja Dove creation.
Yeah.
That does not guarantee you to like the Parfum, because while they are the same DNA, they are not the same exact experience. This is a much heavier, more kind of musty, slightly animalistic fragrance because of the cumin and the clove. Rich, warm spice, old school feel to it, the mature vibe Justin was talking about, with knock your socks off performance. I mean, knock your
It's
socks
thick.
off performance.
It's thick.
Don't. This is another one that, for the love of God, it's not some mass appealing fragrance. Don't overspray this fragrance.
You will regret it.
Please give yourself a little time. Do 2 or 3 sprays. If you feel like that's not enough, do the 4th one just to make yourself happy. And just go on about your day, and you'll be surprised. Whether it's a ooh, you smell good, or ooh, you smell different, you never know. You might get something bad out of it. Who knows? People are going to smell you.
Yes.
It's very powerful. This one actually pushes off the skin for me versus some of the other parfums that they just really linger and last a long time. This one actually has pretty, hefty push in the first like 3 hours. It's all I can smell. This is one of those living in the sillage type of fragrances that I talk about, where I'm literally, that's all I'm doing is smelling me for some certain amount of hours. This is one of them.
Yeah.
So you got to really enjoy something to be able to do that. I mean, think about that. 3 hours, 180 minutes non-stop. That's the only thing your nose smells, because I don't wear out to it.
Yeah.
Which it can be a curse if your nose isn't going to wear out.
Yes.
Sometimes.
You're like, please go away.
Yeah,
I love you, but go away.
You'll get sick of it, and luckily for me, I love the experience because it's quite the unique fragrance. Like you were saying, amber fougere, I think that's a great classification. I know it's technically an aromatic fougere, but the ambery nuance to it it's understated, I think, when they classified it. So I think that's a fair classification for you to throw in there, because it does have kind of this thick, sticky quality to it, almost resinous like benzoin amber feel to go with the rich, warm spice, and just such a heavy yet elegant, classic, timeless scent profile. I think it's one of those, very regal in many ways. It smells expensive. Again, not for everybody, not for little boys, not for a guy wearing, not for me to wear sleeveless with a flat bill. This isn't that vibe, guys. I can't pull that off with this, no matter how confident I am. But yeah, it's special. I just wanted to piggyback off of some of the things Justin had to say with a few extra thoughts, but it's absolutely phenomenal. Nothing safe about this as a blind buy.
Yes.
It's a very situational fragrance. Like I said, if you put the Parfum Cologne here and the Parfum here, you're going to smell the similarity, but they're also wildly different.
Yeah, they're different animals. Funny little known fact about the DNA, specifically the Parfum Cologne. The Danger Parfum Cologne is the fragrance I was wearing basically on the night when Grace and I started dating. It was the night when we kind of both talked to each other and revealed to each other how we had been feeling like for a while. And that was the one I was wearing. And I don't even really know why I wore it, because it was like a balmy, it was like kind of a warm early August evening, like high 80s.
It's kind of a bold pick for the situation, honestly.
Yeah, but it made an impression on her. She didn't mention it at the time, but now that DNA has a very special sentiment for her. Every time I wear it, she knows it.
Well, what you're saying, because I've seen her rate them in videos with you. Now I know why she lights up, because of the memory. Now I know why she likes that. Now I also know why the two of you had ranked it as a great date night option. When the first time I saw you guys talk about that, I was like, really? That? And now hearing that's why. That's why.
Yes. I think it is a great date. I think it's a great date night option, but not just like the first few dates.
No, not a first date fragrance. You've done that video.
Yes.
Actually, I've heard you say that. This is a great, third date fragrance.
Yeah. Third, fourth, you're married, but before that, I wouldn't go near it.
I think Rosé was in there too, in that same list, where you're like, this is not a first date fragrance. This is when you're established.
Yes, totally. When you find out that your date can actually handle fragrances and is not turned off by them, then you're good.
So we're into the top 3. Now it's about to get real interesting.
So this number 3 here is, this one is purely based on the effect that it had on me when I first smelled it when it came out. This was probably 5 years ago at this point since it's come out. When I first smelled it, it blew me away. And every time I put it in a video since then, it was always in this very over the top, stupidly emphatic, comedic way, using like Gollum from Lord of the Rings and just, but I was just really trying to convey like this stuff, guys. I'm not saying you're going to love it, but it destroys me in the best way. I don't even know why. Scandal Parfum Cologne specifically. And I was between this and the Parfum, but I had to go with that effect that it has on me. I love the Parfum with the wearing experience, but even when I just pick this up and smell it, it gets chemicals going. I don't know what it
back
is.
to it right now. When you sniff it, I smell it too.
Man, this is like, it's such a bright but edgy, like
green spice.
Yes. And there's some kind of, the spice in here is maybe again borderline cumin funky. I don't know if it's cumin, maybe not, my precious.
I think so. I think it's a lot of like basil and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what? I could go on and on about what it smells like, but the way I like to describe this scent is if you have smelled Dior Eau Sauvage, the Eau de Toilette, for anyone watching this, it's basically like you take Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette and you just like expand it outwards and you just give it way more complexity and depth. It has the very similar, like, bright lemony citrus and oak moss kind of core to it, but then you have this very heavy barbershop kind of thick, creamy, fresh, spicy, herbal, feeling in there. And ultimately it is like, to me, this is like daytime luxury. Like,
it's this.
Okay, the Extreme, which I have not
you ever smelled this?
No, I haven't smelled the Extreme.
So let me tell you the difference between this and the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de, I know you have a ton of experience with Eau de Toilette. That green feel and the citrus, you shift them to where this is now immensely green and spicy, but still features the lemon. This is actually way closer to that.
Okay.
So as soon as you said Eau Sauvage, I was like, oh, he's never smelled the Extreme.
Yeah.
This is if you want to spend 120 to get almost the same fragrance.
Okay.
Here you go. It's a very similar experience.
I've been wanting to try the Extreme. It's beautiful, guys. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying you're going to love it, but the experience that I have wearing it, it's just like, it lights me up. And I just feel so elegant when I wear this fragrance, especially fall and spring. Summer is okay. Maybe not on the hottest day because it is still a little bit thick for being so bright and fresh. But it's just, to me, it's perfect daytime elegance. I love this stuff.
It broke my heart to leave that one off.
Sure. I mean, it broke my heart to leave several.
That and Signature Pour Homme are my two favorite. If I'm going to wear a suit and tie, that's the first two fragrances I think of.
Okay.
That is professional elegance at its finest. I think that's the best Parfum Cologne flanker in the line. Over Enigma, guys. Yes, I said that. Enigma's
honestly
phenomenal.
I feel the same way. It's my favorite of all the
It's my favorite.
Cologne. Yeah.
I've smelled the Parfum. It's not better. I'm good. I don't need a bottle. I have smelled it. I think I smelled it with you, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think I even told you, I think the Parfum Cologne's better for me.
Sure.
It's just something special about it. If you like green spice, timeless aromatic fougere, citrus aromatic style, like the Eau Sauvage is, like he was saying. Yeah. But, step up a few tiers. Similar scent profile, but we're talking, big difference in quality and blend here. Yeah. Phenomenal. I'm not surprised to see that. I'm glad you brought it out so it at least got shown, because it pained me to not put it on here.
Sure. Well, I'm here for you.
Because my last three, buddy, for me, he could send me the rest of every fragrance he's ever made, and I don't think it'll crack over these three.
Okay.
Starting with Harrods Parfum Pour Homme.
Still haven't tried it yet.
My favorite citrus fragrance, because it's a dense, spicy citrus. The green color is fitting, even though it's not loaded with greens. You get a sense of green when you smell it. It's even classified, I believe, as a spicy citrus or just a citrus, but this is heaven. And look, for me, that's a pretty good dent. for
Yeah,
something that I
especially
don't
for
wear.
that size of bottle.
Yeah, because I don't wear my Roja fragrances all that often because they're so special to me. But this one, I reach for more than the rest of them. Like it's like going to casinos, for example. When we go to a casino, this is in the bag. Smells like money. You damn right. I'm bringing the money fragrance with me. It's amazing, guys. This is
Man,
another one that's so pricey. I was blown. I'll never forget when I opened the package. I had no idea they were sending this to me. And when I sprayed it, I said, holy shit, this is the best fragrance they've ever sent me. Then there was
wow.
another one that's in this top 3 that was in the same package
Yeah.
that's ranked right above
Okay.
it. But
Okay.
guys, I'm when you look at the notes and you see what people compare it to, you're thinking, oh, it's just an expensive version of all these other fragrances. Smell it next to everything else that everybody on Trollgrantica or any of these places are going to tell you it smells like. And you tell me this doesn't smell so much better than all of those.
Mm.
I stand firmly behind that statement, guys. This is phenomenal, Justin. Have you ever tried this?
No, never.
Oh my God. Shame on me.
Never.
Shame on me.
I'm
This is so
looking it
good.
up right now here.
This is
Yeah.
it's a different citrus than any other citrus I've smelled. Like I said, because it's so thick and spicy, but clearly citrus dominant. You've got notes like lemon and all these different things that you would typically get. Orange, lavender, lime, bergamot. Like it's just all these different things with a load
Yeah.
of florals, but it never has a flowery smell to it. Bunch of woods, labdanum. It has a leathery facet to it as it dries, sticky, resinous kind of feel because it does wear heavy for being a citrus-based
Mhm.
fragrance. It has
Okay.
one of those crazy note breakdowns that he does, with like 35,
Yeah.
40 notes, with a
Sure.
bass that's got 12 or 15 notes.
And
Yeah,
there's probably more than that because I
it's
think he can put up to 100 ingredients in one.
this is unreal how
Wow.
good this is. And it's a Harrods exclusive. Go figure, one of the more expensive fragrances is. I'm saying it's amazing. I'm not
You just
saying I
got
would
high
have
praise.
it. This is one of those conundrum fragrances. This is one I was talking about earlier where if you were to get 2 ml and you're like, shit, now I
Mhm.
got to figure out how I'm going to get this expensive ass bottle because it's that good. This would be one for me that would be like that because it's like, I don't want to spend this on fragrance. But after you try it, at least for me, after I tried, it's like, how do I not have this? How do I not secure at least a small portion of this? Because I
Mhm.
don't need 100 ml, but boy, a
Mhm.
30 ml would go a long way. I don't even know if that's an option, but this is
Probably
amazing.
not.
Travel
Yeah.
atomizer would go a long way. I'm sure you can get
Yeah.
the 7.5.
Sure.
It's that good, man, and it doesn't hurt that it's green and gold money. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All about the
No,
money.
I'm
One of the
curious.
prettiest tabs.
It's beautiful. They're like
Yeah, it's
emerald
gorgeous.
green,
Yep,
but
it's
it's like a
very gorgeous.
darker emerald. I'm curious. Does it remind you at all of Oceania?
No, not even a little.
Hmm.
Wildly
Okay.
different experiences.
Okay. Yeah. On
Why is somebody
Fragrant.
comparing it to that?
Well, on as you called Trollgrantica, that is the top comparison.
What?
But it's 41 likes versus 25 dislikes. But
Because
I
of the
don't know.
citrus, I get that, but it's a spicy,
Yeah.
thick citrus. This is not an
Yeah.
airy, breezy fragrance like Oceania.
Yeah.
This is a thick citrus fragrance.
Yeah. It just seems like a
I'm
totally
not going
different
to say that,
character.
citruses don't smell like citruses,
I mean, yeah, you can't expect it to smell
but if I sprayed this
wildly
on your
different.
hand and you sprayed Oceania on the other, you're not going to tell me they're the same fragrance. You're not.
Sure.
I'm
I
sorry.
can believe that.
So I'm not
Someone
knocking all 41 of you that gave a thumbs up. Everybody has a different experience. This is just mine. I
Yeah.
disagree strongly, though I
Yeah.
do understand because they're citrus-based fragrances where the comparison could come in. But if you
Yeah.
spray them both, guys, I mean, you would be trolling me to tell me they're the same fragrance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I believe it. I mean, and for all we
So
know,
good.
there's people who may not even smelled it, just went along. Oh yeah,
Oh,
let
that
me say
happens a
it.
lot on there. That's why I
Yeah.
call it Copeland.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
So that's my first
Okay.
of the big guns.
That's
What you got
amazing.
here? What's your next big gun?
Well, number 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw
Be
someone
serious.
mention it in the comments. Someone asked, like, hey, you guys have this one? Burlington. Burlington.
So we can do
Man.
them at the same time. That's my number 2 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Burlington. Believe it or not, this one is oddly polarizing. There's
Very.
people who absolutely hate this. I think because of the cumin in here.
That's exactly what I was about to say, because it's cumin based.
What I get out of this is this damp, boozy, citrusy spice. It kind of bitter, but also a little bit sweet. But it's damp. That's the best word I could use to describe it.
God, I
It
haven't smelled
is.
it yet. When
It's
I
like
grabbed the
humid.
bottle, I didn't smell it. So this is my
Okay.
first time smelling it since
Okay.
the last 2 days.
It is. It's humid. It's so interesting.
Humid is such a good word because it's warm,
Yeah.
yet oddly fresh. It's
Yeah.
musky, citrus peel,
Yeah.
boozy. It's so many things.
Yeah.
This is one of the
It-
more complex fragrances he's put out.
For sure. It's one of the classiest citrus fragrances I've smelled.
Yeah.
Putting citrus and heavy booze together, you don't see that a lot. And when you see like a bright citrus with booze, you think, oh, maybe gin or something. But this is like maybe a rum or something like that. It's kind of
There
a
is
darker,
rum.
boozy quality to it. And there is this warmth, as you're saying. It kind of dries a little warmer, sweeter, almost borderline ambery. But
Yeah.
it's so classy. Gosh, this is so good.
Well, there's saffron. You've got tobacco, which I never pick up tobacco. But
Me
the
neither.
saffron makes sense because I think that's what's given us that ambery warmth.
Yeah.
And you have labdanum on top of that. Because so you can go, those oils, it depends on the oil. But the labdanum and the saffron can go a couple of different ways here.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one way they both go, and that's warm.
Yeah.
They
Definitely.
definitely help warm this fragrance up.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. It's so good.
This
And
is another
it's-
one I think
yeah.
I gave a 9.5 out of 10. I did a full review on this one like 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, so anybody that was looking for a match, here you go, our number 2. Both of them. I had a feeling he was going to rank it pretty highly as well.
Yeah,
I just
for
wasn't
sure.
sure if it was going to be in the same slot, but
Yeah. You know, I am seeing a comment here from Sandy saying he just bought Vibrato from Sospiro, which is hype beast right now, and it does get compared. Have you smelled Vibrato yet?
No, I've heard it's very similar to Tigar, actually.
So that they're all in the same family.
Yeah.
For sure.
Whereas this is way more musty than a Tigar.
So this Burlington to me is just a way more complex. I can see where people are coming from because, like with Vibrato in particular, that
Spicy
is
citrus.
it's a grapefruit heavy scent, grapefruit, musk, woods, but that's like kind of all it is. And this is just so much more. It's that plus so much more. So in a way you could compare them, but in a way not really. They're not even really worth putting
Like
next
it's
to each
hard to
other.
put this bottle down. Now that we pulled the caps and started sniffing, it's
Yeah.
hard to put it down, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's a great citrus fragrance that you can wear all year round because of its personality, because it has that damp, warm quality to it. I think it does fine on a cooler night, honestly.
This definitely is not for everyone, though.
Yeah.
This is probably the least safe over an amber oud and a danger. And well, danger, I'd probably say about as equally as safe. But that's the beauty of some of these. These are completely different olfactive experience. Even if they, at certain stages, remind you of certain things, I can almost guarantee you this is a deeper scent than whatever you're thinking it may smell similar to. There's a lot more going on in his fragrances, and that's to his credit with the way he blends these. It's phenomenal. And yeah, this deserves all the praise and then some. You know, shame on us for it not being our number 1. It's that good. You know?
Oh man.
So since we kind of went at the same time there, it only made sense since they were in the same spot.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what your number 1 is. I think I know, but it's not up to me to say. I think I know.
I think you know, honestly. I think your gut is right.
It starts with the F. No, it's Oligarch. I totally forgot you didn't show that yet.
Oligarch, specifically Oligarch, the EDP.
I just
and
went
you
ahead
got
and
the
put them all
Isola.
three together.
Yes.
My number
Yeah.
one's all three.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. And I almost took this and Isola and said, "Oh yeah, it's my number one."
Yeah.
But for me, this is still superior for me. Oligarch EDP. I first tried this fragrance in like 2017. I had a travel atomizer and it knocked me off my feet. I don't even know why. I'm like, why do I love this so much? I burned through like half of that 7.5 mil. And then out of the blue, Rogers, they sent me this bottle. I don't know if they heard me say it, but yeah. So for those that may not know, just a quick backstory. This was the original Oligarch EDP, which came out, I want to say maybe 2016. I don't remember exactly when.
Was it that far back?
I think it was. If you want to look it up to verify,
Yeah, let me
feel free.
look it up real quick.
I don't remember exactly when, but it was definitely, I think it was after 2014.
Let's see. 2016. Yeah, you nailed it. I thought it was like 2017, 2018. Apparently not.
2016, it came out. It was their best seller for some time. Like since its release, it was just leading the way. Elysium came along in, I think, the following year, honestly, 2017. But this was still riding high until the Ukraine-Russian conflict, which we don't need to talk about because
that was already discontinued when that started. The Parfum was out.
Yes, that's right. The Parfum had come out. Yeah, Parfum replaced it because they decided to do a change. They're not making any more EDPs, just Parfums, which
I was told to never question you.
Wow, no, that's not necessary. Yeah. For reasons kind of maybe unknown, but I think that maybe they kind of said it. I don't remember, but in solidarity of the conflict, they pulled this very blatantly named fragrance off the market with plans to remarket it, repackage it, and re-release it. So that's what they did with Isola Blue, which obviously just came out. And it is basically the Parfum version of Oligarch rebottled. Even then, maybe not exactly the Parfum.
If I had to pick one, how you're picking the EDP, even though Isola is the one I gave the 10 to, the Parfum for me.
Yes.
It is a little bit denser than Isola.
Yes, agreed.
A little bit denser, but the formulas are pretty much this.
Yeah,
they're one-to-one.
It's the same scent personality.
It's a density thing, and it's not a big difference. If you have both, you can tell. But if I was to let you smell this one time, and then you get this, you would never tell me there was a difference ever again.
You wouldn't know. Agreed. Yeah, but for me, the magic that first drew me in was the EDP. And again, I got this bottle. I've been wearing this bottle like crazy ever since. It's easily one of my most complimented fragrances for what that's worth.
Same.
Yeah. It's just people around me will ask. And there's people like my sister-in-law, Gabrielle, who is, for people who have seen videos with her in it, she is very particular.
It's a 3.2.
Yes, she's very particular. She does not have a wide open taste. But when she does like something, speaking of which, I saw her last night and I was wearing the new Cartier Passion Noir Absolute, which I would never expect her to like. It's dark, smoky caramel. And she was like, what is that? And I was like, you like this? Oligarch is another one that she's like, every time I've worn it, is that Roja? I'm like, yep. So again, that's kind of a sidebar. But Oligarch, the EDP for me, the reason why I love it, it's the bright pop it has. The citruses are just more
diffusive. Off of you. They're very vibrant.
Yeah, they're more diffusive, which you would expect from a lighter concentration. But it still has oomph. It still sticks around. The way it evolves on the skin still gets this beautiful kind of fruity, ambery, woody warmth to it. But
Kuba had a suit and tie event the other day, and that's what he wore. I saw his post, and he wore the EDP.
Yeah. So
he said he took a picture of himself, and he's like, "You're not going to catch me like this often, but when you do," and he shows the bottle. So
honestly,
good choice.
I know it's a little unfair because you can't get this anymore,
No.
at least not for a price that's worth it if you do find it.
Mm-mm.
I'd say you're fine with the Isola Blue. Isola Blue is the same character, maybe a little denser, but still just as playful and bright. But there's something about the EDP that is just magic to me. But the whole DNA is fantastic.
So I hope that answered your question, Randy. Because yeah, the EDP, that's the difference with the EDP and the Parfum. It's the Parfum wears a little heavier. The citrus is a little sweeter, not as bright,
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
greener. That's literally it. There's the same note break. All three are the same note breakdown. The formula didn't change. It was a density change.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that the Parfum definitely smells more refined than the EDP. It's more rounded, as you were saying, definitely more smoother.
Yeah,
The
smoother.
EDP has something that I don't know why I like it, but it's this like sharp medicinal quality. It's almost like a eucalyptus type of green sharpness for those first like 5-10 minutes. But I like it. It's weird. They kind of strip that away, and it's again more smoother with the other versions of it. But that's one thing that just contributes to why I like it more.
So vibrant, though. I just sprayed it.
Yeah, it's so vibrant.
It's juicy and sharp, whereas with the Parfum and Isola, it's sweeter and smoother.
Yeah,
that's the immediate thought I get because I haven't sprayed the EDP in a while, whereas Isola and the Parfum I've sprayed much more recently. And honestly, guys, if you can get a decent price on any of the three, get any one of the three. It doesn't matter. Which the likelihood of the oligarch ones, it's going to be ridiculous. So
yeah,
none of them are safe blind buys. Even Isola being on the market, it's still pricey. It's $300 and some odd dollars, I believe, for the 50 ml. Try before you buy, but be warned: the likelihood of you not liking it is about as slim as it gets. It's again, I give them all a 10. Pick which one. Doesn't matter. They're all for me. That's why they get a 10, because I rate it for me, my wearing experience, my lifestyle, what I like, what suits me and my personality. Oligarch EDP, Parfum, and Isola Blue are literally the perfect oil concentration collection, I guess you could say, of fragrances for me. They're the only ones that have ever gotten a 10 out of me.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm glad we overlapped on number 1 and 2. Obviously.
Number 1 and 2. Because the one that popped in my head was Fetish.
Fetish is...
I don't know why Oligarch slipped my mind for you to have it at number 1. I don't know if I was being naive thinking it was just going to be me having it at number 1.
No, Oligarch still to this day stands as my favorite Roja DNA, without a doubt, and probably will always be that way.
So, bonus question. What is your least favorite Roja Parfums fragrance? What's the one that you're like, nope, not going to wear it?
The only one that I've smelled where I'm like, this is the first and last time I'm smelling this fragrance is, I believe it's Great Britain. I only have a travel atomizer of it, and it's like this very powdery leather, like white floral. Good to see you, Cream. Have a good night. This very powdery white floral, borderline stinky, like animalic leather fragrance. Just like it smells like an 85-year-old woman.
Oh God, that's awesome.
Like
that's a great
on her makeup. Putting on her makeup.
What a way to turn some people off of a fragrance.
I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. There's people who like it. So if that means anything to you guys, don't be afraid. There are people who like it. But you have to like the idea of a powdery white floral leather. What it's not for me. I don't like it at all.
Randy said, yeah, this is why you two are the best. I feel like I sat through a fun lecture with my favorite teacher, yet my lives are like watching Milky get chunky. Milk get chunky. That's not true. I was watching Randy's live. That's not true, Randy.
Watching milk get
Don't cut
chunky.
yourself short like that, man.
No, man.
We appreciate the compliment. You don't have to slight yourself to compliment us. Come on now.
No.
So for me, it was one that I smelled with Justin one time, and I have zero desire to smell ever again. I put it so far out of my memory, aside from the name of the fragrance, so I can avoid it, that I don't even remember the scent profile, but I remember, because luckily for Roja Dove, I guess, to not want to hear this about a fragrance he created for himself, it was in the same video where I was hoping to smell danger, We smelled it after the video. It's Hot Lux.
Okay.
Supposedly that's one he created for himself.
Yes.
And it's a very limited quantity. It's very expensive.
Yes.
4 figures. It's very, very expensive. Justin has a travel atomizer of it. And I remember smelling it saying, of all the greatness this man's created, this is the fragrance he created for himself. That's what I remember about it. I don't
remember it's kind of like this white floral sheep, like this.
It's sheep. How does Andreas say it? Sheep.
Sheep. If I remember correctly, it is. Let me look it up real quick because now I'm curious. Because it comes from the same collection. Cloud-based scent. Maybe not overly white floral. There is some jasmine, but definitely a lot of ylang ylang.
The test strip didn't do it any favors.
It is. It definitely smells luxurious. Like you can tell. Okay, this smells like high money.
Didn't it have the gold flakes in the bottle?
I believe it does have some.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that has.
At least it did. Yeah, maybe it still does, but. I do want to try it again. I have it's back there in this little bookcase. I need to try it again because I'm curious because I haven't smelled it because I don't love it. That one was okay, but I'm not like, I wouldn't wear this, but I think it's nice.
So I felt it was only fair to talk about ones that we just don't like. They are turnoffs.
Yeah.
Just to prove to you guys we don't like every damn thing they send us.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Because look, they didn't send that to me. They sent it to him. And I'm like, man, I'm glad they didn't send that to me.
Yeah, just a travel atomizer.
Yeah.
I have a lot of travel atomizers of ones that I don't have full bottles of. And there's some of them that I need to revisit. A lot of like maybe the feminine marketed releases I have and like 51 and some other ones. But
so I got a question. Yeah. So Lizzie mentioned earlier how much she loves the Elixir for women. What's Grace's? Was some like 2 of her favorites? Is Elixir one of them?
Elixir is probably her most worn Roja that she has.
Now, is that the fresher one, the taller bottle, or the Parfum?
It's kind of confusing. They've recently like kind of got new bottle designs for the women and stuff. So Elixir came out like 5 years ago, and it was in this like pink bottle, like kind of a taller.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, the taller bottle.
Yeah. So they sent that to me. I reviewed
Essence
it,
and then Parfum or something like that.
Maybe I think that was the second version. Maybe no, I think you're right. I think it is Essence de Parfum, and that was
the taller bottle.
It wasn't a collection yet. They just started Essence de Parfum with that fragrance.
That's what happened with Elysium.
Yes, I had it. I reviewed it. I gifted that away. They recently sent me, not recently, like a couple years ago, sent the Parfum version of Elixir, which is in the square bottle. In fact, I'll grab it just to show you. Oh, that's Sweetie. I moved that one. Here it is.
Oh yeah, Lizzie's still here. She said, "Yeah, it's Essence de Parfum."
Okay, so yeah, this I believe Elixir doesn't exist in this form anymore. This is the 50 ml Parfum.
They still have it at discounters.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this again, I don't wear this. This is all Grace. You can see the dent.
Oh wow,
Grace. And honestly, this stuff is sexy. When she wears this, I'm like,
come hither.
Like we are going nowhere. I'm sorry. It's good.
We're having a nighttime staycation.
It is flirty but classy. Fruity floral, just beautifully crafted. The other one that she has that she loves, I think she has 2 Essence de Parfum in the purple bottles. And I want to say it's Creation E Parfum. Essence de Parfum. That one also smells really good on her. Not quite as flirty, a little bit more on the classy side, but really elegant, really beautiful.
So Randy's got a question about, I don't know why he put an A. That might have been a typo. He might have fat fingered it. S.A. Sweetie. But Sweetie Oud. It was hard to not put that one in there. We both love Sweetie Oud. And then Happy Enigma wasn't mentioned. I find it very overrated. So we'll get to that, sir. We'll get to that part. Okay. But why don't you give us your thoughts on Sweetie Oud, Jay?
Sweetie is beautiful and extremely unique.
Nobody. The reason I want you to start us off, sorry to interrupt right away.
Yeah, no problem.
Nobody describes this better than Justin. Chris does a good job, Fragmental. Shout outs to Chris. But I love The way Justin describes this, I can visualize it because he had it before I did. So I had a full expectation when I got it because of him. And it's exactly this.
I mean, I may have heard this somewhere. I don't remember now, but it does smell like this warm baked fruity pastry, like a flaky
Very
pastry.
flaky. Yep.
Um,
Almost like
kind of,
a croissant. But if
yes.
you could find a flaky croissant.
Yes, there is a bready, like a warm bready feel. Even though it is technically a rose oud, when you look at the notes, you wouldn't think it would smell the way that it does. It's beautiful and again, so different. My only problem with Sweetie Oud, it's too freaking strong. It is so, if you can imagine, I know there's guys who are like, too strong. How is that possible? I remember one time, and this is my fault, but I have tried it since, and I'm like, this stuff I can maybe do 1 to 2 sprays. But the first time I ever wore it, I just got the bottle.
Sprays.
I was so, yeah, that's it. You know, and if I'm gonna do 3, I'm not gonna be inside a building. I'm gonna be outside all day long. I did 2 sprays. I was so excited. I was so hyped because I had a Discovery atomizer that I had tried over the years. Got this bottle, and I went out, and I'm driving somewhere. I don't remember where I was going. I was in the car for maybe 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And as those 20 minutes are going by, every couple minutes, I'm having to roll the windows down a little bit more, until they're all the way down. And I'm literally going somewhere to see people, and I can't even bear myself right now.
You can't even be in the car with yourself.
Like, what are people going to think? Like, this stuff is nuclear. It was just like a teddy bear just strangling you. Again, it's not like aggressive, but it's a teddy bear. There's some kind of soft and
not the Moschino teddy bear, guys.
No, this is like, I don't know. It's warm. I don't know. It was suffocating me. And so I actually got away from it for like a year after that. I'm like, I need a break from this. So I tried it again. I want to say back in the winter of last year, like late winter. Did 2 sprays, and I knew what I was getting into, so it wasn't quite as suffocating. But it's still like 2 sprays, and I smelled it 18 hours later the next day. It is so strong. I'm
just sitting here enjoying Oligarch EDP.
Oh yeah.
So for me, and those of you that have it, thank me later after you do this. Just take my word for it. Next time you go eat Italian food, wear that.
Okay.
It pairs well with the vibe and the aromas of an Italian restaurant. I'm not talking Olive Garden. I mean an actual Italian restaurant.
Yes, indeed.
Ever since the first time I did that, that's the only thing I wear it for. Because my wife loves Italian food. It's her favorite type of food to eat. So we go eat Italian because anytime we go out to dinner and everything, stuff that I wear for that aren't in my weekly rotations. So nobody, unless I do a date night video and tell you what I'm currently been wearing, which I do ever so often, nobody really knows what I'm wearing at dinner all the time. But that's anytime we're going for Italian food, that is 100% the only time I wear that. And I wear that. Nothing else.
Interesting.
It pairs so well. Because think about it. You're having warm bread at the table. You have the oil and vinegar you have the salads and everything about it. The pastas, the aroma fits the vibe and the other surrounding aromas. It just really
interesting.
So any of you that have it, that haven't worn it to an Italian restaurant, try it out and let me know what you think after. Curse me out or tell me I'm brilliant. Either way.
I cannot wait to try that. And nonetheless, just to wear it some more this winter. I will wait till it gets actually cold.
Yeah, it's too strong to wear if it's even 65, 70 degrees outside. It's a lot. You need that's something that needs a jacket and subtlety.
Yes. Yeah, when you spray even 1 spray too many, it smells perfumey. It smells like overwhelming to people around you. People can be like, and again, that's one of those things that can really kill a fragrance for people. It's not even what it smells like. It's how strong it is. When potency is it's the only thing people can smell. And oddly enough, people seem to want that out of their fragrances. They want to be the only thing anyone will smell when they are in their presence. If that's what it is, then that is a turnoff. That's a turnoff. It's inconsiderate. Yeah.
It's inconsiderate. Yeah. Because look, if you're going to be around a bunch of other fragrance enthusiasts, You have to, just to try to get somebody to smell you.
Exactly.
You have to take it from two guys that have done our share of fragrance events. You got to do that.
Yes.
But the average situation, you don't want to overwhelm everybody. Most people don't want to be overwhelmed by your fragrance.
Yeah.
You know,
no, if you're going to be around civilians, civilians, you know, be courteous. I always say you can be selfish with the type of fragrances you wear, but be considerate as well with how much of them you put on, right? I think those are two very different things. Inconsiderate and selfish are different for me when it comes to wearing fragrances. So
now with Randy, the second part. So it pained me to leave Creation Parfum Cologne off because I love the scent of that fragrance, but it's not special enough to crack this 7. Just like Scandal Parfum Cologne, for as much as I enjoy that one, and Sweetie Oud, the way we just praised it, there's so much good out there, but that comes down to a taste thing. I was just joking when I said we'll get to that in a second, sir. To each their own, but I'm a personal fan of it. Let's say you like Tonka Cola, because they'll get compared to one another. It's not spicy like Tonka Cola. It's more boozy, a lot of cognac. You get a lot of sweet cognac, loads of heliotrope. It's much more complex, as you would expect. It's kind of like Tonka Cola's daddy. That's how you could look at it. That's Tonka Cola's the kid. That's the son. You know, where they kind of have some similarity because they're cola fragrances. I get it.
Yeah, it's like getting a Roy Rogers at the restaurant instead of getting a real
drink. It's like getting the Shirley Temple or something.
Yes,
yeah. It's that's how I look at it. Like, but then again, Randy doesn't really care for Tonka Cola either. So I think it's cola fragrances for the most part. He probably doesn't enjoy.
Okay.
I mean, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But I've always understood the hype on that one. I would say that's probably the second best one. It's hard to really rank those in the parfum. I'm talking the Parfum Cologne line specifically, because I don't have Enigma or Creation E, the Parfum. I don't know if I've ever even smelled the Parfum.
Me neither.
Because I haven't smelled Gutterbird.
It's heralded as a masterpiece, the Parfum version. And I haven't tried it. I'd like to.
What do you think about the Parfum Cologne?
The Parfum Cologne, I enjoy it. Unfortunately, it is a fragrance that Grace doesn't love when I wear it. The times I've tried to wear it, she just kind of like, I always know she doesn't love a fragrance that I'm wearing when she asks me, what are you wearing? Believe it or not, that's how I know she's not vibing with it. She's like,
you probably go, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've tried, I think maybe twice with this one. And I see where she's coming from. It is a little bit odd. It is kind of like, it does kind of smell like a whiskey Coke vibe, you know, but there's a sparkling feel. I love it for its artistry. And it does smell pretty classy. And I think worn in the right situations, it can be very complimentary. I like it. And the dusty tobacco and stuff, I like the scent, but I do have to consider my wife. So I don't wear very much. Yeah, I don't wear very much.
Heidi's she likes how it smells in moderation, but even at one spray, it's not moderation.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to wear it if I'm not around her. She doesn't hate the scent. It's just too much, which makes her not like it.
Yeah.
I've literally tried
it can be potency.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like it. I'm a fan of it, but it's not going to be my most worn anytime soon. But I do want to try the Parfum. I'm really curious about it.
So Sandy asks if Sweetie Oud smells anything like Naxos. Not even a little.
No.
No honey, no tobacco. None of that.
Not at all. Very different.
Let's see. Oh, so the one we were just talking about. I said, which Roja fragrance is the one that smells like baked bread? That's Sweetie Oud.
Yeah. I think I saw someone, maybe Matt, answered that question in the chat. But yeah, it was Sweetie Oud.
Yeah. Baked bread, Texas Road. I went to eat at Texas Roadhouse like 2 nights ago. It's funny that he brings that up.
Nice.
Sweetie Oud and Sense of Wood, bread and chestnut. It's fair. I'll be in and out of the live. No worries, Joel. We're just hanging out for a little bit longer. We'll do a little Q&A like we normally do here at the end.
Yeah, if you guys have any burning questions. Yeah, any burning questions, feel free to drop them in.
Yeah, now is definitely the time. See, I get a ton of powder from it, and that's why it's not my jam. But the Parfum, I get less of that. powder and cola mix. That's why I don't love it. That's fair. Like, it's just a taste thing.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like any of the snide stuff I'm saying, I'm just giving you a hard time. You know, it's a taste thing. I don't discredit anyone for not liking or liking a scent that I feel the opposite of.
That's ridiculous and childish, but people do it. People do it somehow.
Spencer says we need more of you two doing videos together, brothers from different mothers. I sure appreciate that.
Thank you.
We try to do as often as we can. We lead quite different lives with very different time zones. We're 3 hours apart now. No, 2 hours. 2 hours apart. So
yeah,
like right now for me, it's 5:36. It's 3:36 for him.
Yep.
So different times of the day. Like if there's something like, say there's a funny comment I got and I want to send it to him at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, he's still sleeping at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I need to wait a little while before I send that text. His phone don't go off. Like we have to be conscious of these things, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But I definitely enjoy when I have Justin on or when I get to go on his channel, because not everything's just fun topics like this. We get a little controversial sometimes too.
Yeah, trying to stir the pot when we can, you know, but trying to be more strategic about it these days, I guess.
Well, on top of that, we're not trying to just piss people off. We're just giving our opinions, basically.
Exactly.
If people happen to get pissed off, that's unfortunate for them. Teach their own. Jason said, do you guys get a fecal type of smell from Scandal? I can't get what the funk could be. I want to say I've heard Jason talk about this before.
I do get a funk. I get a little bit, but for me, it's more of like a mossy, woody funk. Maybe even a spicy funk. I lost you for a second.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering because you froze on my screen, so it might have been.
You froze on my screen. Yeah. So what were you gonna say?
No, I was saying I get a lot of like a sheeper feel to it as it dries because it's so green and earthy, you know.
Definitely. In fact,
so it very well could be. I want to say me and Jason have had this conversation where I said it could be a skin chemistry thing. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you and I have talked about this because I don't really get a lot of that aside from just dense, heavy green.
Yeah, to me, it's just this very subtle, prickly quality to this scent. And I don't know how else to describe this. This is going to sound really weird, but imagine having something in your peripheral vision that you can't see it. And every time you turn to look at it, it moves with you. So it's like, it's kind of like always there, but it's never like right up front, and you'll never like truly find it. You'll just kind of feel it. It's kind of weird. I don't know how else to describe
I totally get where you're coming from, and that can be very obnoxious.
Yeah.
What you're describing can be extremely obnoxious.
Yeah,
it's almost like seeing a shadow in the corner of your sunglasses when it's actually a piece of your sunglasses.
Yes,
it moves with you. You know?
Sure. Especially if you're driving, that's no fun. It's distracting.
Have either of you tried the Oud range by Alberto Marias for Zara? Picked up elevated oud for 16, is that pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't with currency. No, you got it, man. That was it. I haven't tried them. I did see Sebastian's video on the whole collection. And I mean, when I saw the range, I'm like, okay, Alberto, cool. I love his stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, but Zara, like, I think we're dealing with a low ceiling here in terms of what
the quality of the materials
and what they're looking for, like the type of personality they want to appeal to certain people. So, you know, if you go see Sebastian's video, he's basically unhappy with all of them. They're all very underwhelming and all kind of just simple, you know, but I'm you know, I'll try them if I see them.
Well, that's the downside to these things, because you'll see a name like Alberto Marias tied to it, and then when you get disappointed, you want to look at him. When I can tell you guys, based on conversations with Claude, these designer houses, they give these perfumers certain parameters. Here's what I want, work within these parameters. And they have to deliver within this box that they're put in, basically. It's not the same level of creativity they're going to get with a luxury brand where they can kind of flex their their creative muscles a bit more. Whereas something like Zara, it's probably not what I haven't smelled them, but I can guarantee you it's not what we're expecting from something perfumed by Alberto Marias.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, so it's just the name of the game, you know.
But I haven't tried them either. I actually haven't seen Sebastian's video, but him being pretty underwhelmed by the entire collection, that sounds like a must watch to me. Because he's Some people are really good at being respectfully saying how much they don't like something, and he's really good at that.
Yeah,
He's really
he
good at that.
is. He'll give balance. He says, "Oh yeah, I like this about it," but you know,
you
I
find the
like
good, but you give the criticism too.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I love that. That's the right way to do it. You know?
I agree. Instead of just saying it sucks, move on. It's like that's not accurate.
Yeah, respectful negative criticism, because it's not
Yeah.
even really going to be perceived as negative if it's respectful. You know?
Yeah, and if you're gonna say you don't like it, you know, or if you're gonna say it's bad, which is very subjective, at the very least you can do is explain why and be specific if you can.
I know what you mean, Justin. What are you wearing? You already know based on the scent. That's going to be a
Yeah.
great or terrible question.
When Grace likes a fragrance I'm wearing, she will usually say, mmm, or say,
Same.
you smell yummy or something. She will give some kind of like proclamation of what she's getting rather than trying to get information from me. And
I get the same
yes,
thing every time she likes it. Ooh, you smell pretty. Wait, come back. I get
yes,
pretty.
yes.
The word pretty every time. That's when
Nice.
she
I like
really
that.
likes something. I
I
tell her
like
all the
that.
time, I love when you tell me I smell pretty.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
That's a compliment from her.
Yes.
You know? It means
That's
she would
great.
come back. She wants to smell it again, you know.
Yes. Yes,
Let's
indeed.
see what we got. Hey, Rob's in the house. So, Rob, I did get your
What's
package,
up,
by the
Rob?
way. It's right here. I'm going to be setting it up for a live stream next week.
Ooh,
For those of you that
Rob's
didn't know,
new
Justin, I know you
fragrance.
know about pre-production perfumes.
Yes, for sure.
Fragrance Journey, Dark Dreams.
Awesome.
Robert did his own fragrance.
Awesome.
So I'll be
That's
setting
so
that up for
great,
next
Rob.
week. I haven't sprayed it. I got it right here. I just haven't touched. You know me, I like to go in blind.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing Rob, I
stuff.
expect some Dark Dreams with the name being like, this is going to be
Yes.
an artistic expression. This is not a mass appealing fragrance. I can tell you right
Yes.
now without having smelled it.
And I appreciate Rob for, you know, wearing his taste on his sleeve from day one. I remember
Always
when
has.
Robert started his channel, it's just like every video was about something I had never even heard of. I'm like, dang, what is that? What is that? And I remember, I'll never forget, Robert really did me a solid. I think he was traveling in Europe and he hit me up. He's like, hey man, I'm here and maybe in France or something. I want to send you some samples of some fragrances I've been trying out here. I'm like, sure. So he sent me most of the Javoy collection, and I fell in love with Javoy from that. So if it wasn't for Robert, I would not really know Javoy like I know them today and love the house. So Robert, I'll never forget that. Thank you.
So based on what Justin said, for those of you that aren't familiar with Fragrance Journey 01 with Robert,
yeah,
the screen name you see right there, type that in YouTube, just like you see it. And go check out Robert's reviews. He doesn't do daily content. The man's got a life outside of this, much more than the two of us, I guess, to where he doesn't have the time. But you want to talk about a very respectable and unique taste that he like he said, he wears it on his sleeve from the start. He is proud of his taste. To this day, he's the only person I've ever seen talk about Mancera Sandoud.
Okay.
I don't know what it smells like, but I can tell you, I've never heard another human mention the name Mancera Sandoud.
I think Mancera is even surprised.
It makes you want to try it. So definitely check out Robert and tune in next week. I want to say it's probably going to be Thursday's stream. We're going to see what he's working with here with his creation.
I feel like Robert probably reminded Mancera that they had that fragrance. Like, oh man, we got that? I totally forgot.
I'll never forget. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Robert, because I've never seen anybody else mention Sandoud.
Awesome. I got to try it now.
I still haven't. And this was like 4 years ago. I heard him mention it. It's been that long.
Wow.
I never think of it.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Sure. Yeah. No one.
Yeah. So, in honor of today's live stream, I wore Second Soul after my shower, and tonight evening Mystique. Dan, Not the Man, the best name on YouTube. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate that.
I don't think we have Ross, but I was curious if it's just me. The opening is amazing, but that funk has stopped me. I could have swore I've had you type this to me before. But yeah, that's it. Look, if it comes across funky on you and it's not an attractive type of funky, avoid.
Yeah, that's okay. If you don't like it, don't force it.
This is where sampling's so important, guys, because that would be a pricey blind buy.
Yeah.
So, Sir C.I. Schniffington, I know that's a regular on your channel.
Big fan.
Said, what dollar amount is the cutoff for you where you know you're paying more for a name/bottle at that point than quality of the scent? What do you think is the quality ceiling? It's an interesting question.
That's very poignant. Quality ceiling. You know, to answer the question, I guess, I don't know, kind of analytically, if you look across the niche industry in terms of like the brands that are really moving bottles,
Mhm.
and you look at the prices of those bottles retail, I think you rarely see anything above $300 in terms of majority of
Mhm.
niche brands that are actually moving units. Um, you know, between that 1 and 300 price range, I think is what you expect when you're going to buy a niche fragrance. In terms of, if I think of a fragrance that I've smelled that costs over $300 versus one that costs like 150 to 200, not a ton of difference a lot of the time. High quality ingredients are high quality ingredients. Great blending is great blending. It really comes down to the person on the other side of the organ putting everything together. And if everyone has access to the same ingredients, it really depends on how is it coming together and what is the vision behind the scent. You know, is that you're saying
That's an
that's an
example. It's
example? Yeah,
$180, and it smells damn
yeah,
near the quality of these.
yeah.
I
For me,
put those on a slightly higher tier, but
yeah,
180 versus all the other brands in the price range you're saying, the $300-$400 range, absolutely the same quality
yeah,
materials.
for sure.
This is
Yeah, I
MD.
mean, there are so many exceptions to, fragrances that truly smell more expensive than they are. Even the ones that are sub 100, even not even maybe designers. There's some designer fragrances out there that smell like they should be more expensive, and then there's definitely some niche that smell like those designers in terms of quality.
For
So
sure.
for me, if I had to arbitrarily put a number, I would say maybe $300.
That's
Like
exactly the
now,
price I would put.
and that really comes down to how much I have actually paid for a fragrance. The most I've ever paid for a fragrance was I think like 310, and that was for Amouage Overture Man back when it wasn't yet available in North America. I bought it from overseas, and it was worth every penny for me.
Agreed.
So that's spending more than that. I would be questioning, like, is this really going to be a notch higher than what I have paid for in that price range? I don't know. And how do you really quantify that? And how do you really evaluate that? Like, oh, yes, like how smooth can a fragrance really get? Like, how well blended can a fragrance really get before, like, what's the threshold there?
Yeah.
Like, how are we really assessing quality and price together? It's like, oh yeah, this is $1,000, and you can tell. It's like, well, what makes you be able to tell more than a $300 fragrance?
Yeah.
Right now, there are fragrances out there that are 1,000 plus, and some of them from Raja, and I can easily say, like, should you go out and buy this? No. Does it smell like it's $1,000+ No. It smells expensive, but it does not
Diaghilev.
smell. It does not smell like 2 car payments, 3 car payments. You know,
Yeah. I
Diaghilev.
use
Yes.
Diaghilev as a perfect example. It smells super expensive.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's worth what it costs.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I
It's like
wouldn't go out and buy it.
$1,200 maybe. I think even the whatever they call the hot Lux line, whatever, is 18, 16,
Yeah,
18,
Diaghilev's like
maybe
1,600
more.
retail. You can get it for like 600, but still 600. That's a lot.
Yeah, Fragrance Du Bois is the same Sarah, which is a beautiful scent, great quality, but retail, that thing is 900 to 1,000. And it's like, okay, guys, like marketing is at play for sure. Um, and but value lies in the consumer. It's the
Indeed.
consumer, it is the market who dictates value. If you're not going to spend money on it, then it doesn't have value to you, and that's okay. Value is subjective. People who will spend money on it are people who can hopefully actually afford it, because some
Yeah.
people, really front, and they do Klarna payments on things they have no business getting, just to look a certain way. But people who have that money and they can spend it, maybe they're in a different tax bracket. It's all relative at that point. For some people, $10,000 is like $100,
That's true.
So
I'm not one of those people.
Me neither. At least not yet. Working on it.
Maybe one day. That's the goal. That's everybody's goal, right? I want 10,000 to feel like 100.
Seriously.
That'd be great. Put that on the dream board.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's like I want to wipe my ass with $5 bills with no problem.
Yeah. And not feel like I have to wash and dry them after.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Sandy asked, do you know if Roja Dove has any plans on any new releases? I think it's time for a dark fragrance. Until they say something, I can't speak for Justin. I can only assume, but I never know until it's time for a release.
Yeah. I mean, they're always working on something. There's something coming for sure. This year's been a fairly busy year for them, I'd say. We had the Elysium Intense, we had Isola, we had the Taif come out, and maybe a couple of others. Like they put out quite a bit this year.
Yeah, because they don't send us everything they release and all this. They don't catch us up on the backlog. It's very random. We don't ask for anything. We'll just randomly get an email.
Exactly.
Where they're like, hey, we'd love to send this to you guys. It's basically how it happens. Get a random email. And it's like, oh, shit. As soon as I see an email from London, like, ooh, yes. My immediate thoughts. Because the house makes me happy. They are that, as you see the way we spoke of some of these fragrances. And this is not even close to all the ones we truly love. This is just, we had to rank them, and not everything could make the top 7.
Yeah, for real.
So let's see.
But I'd like to see a dark scent. I'd like to see a dark scent come next. We'll see.
I mean, why not? Because the last 2 were fresh. Oh Intense and Isola Blue, those are on the fresher side.
Yeah, and even Taif is a fresher side, Rose Oud. So, yeah. Give us some tobacco, some booze, some
tobacco would be great because they did put out a mass release of Manhattan centered around tobacco last year.
Yeah, but that's kind of a lighter, airy vanilla tobacco.
A lot of florals.
Beautiful.
I wore it last week.
A lot of florals.
Something like that.
Beautiful scent.
Something like that. It's gorgeous.
Classy. I haven't smelled the parfum, which they discontinued, and I hear there's some differences, but
I'm sure there is. I've never smelled the limited version either, the parfum. But the EDP is beautiful. If you're going into that expecting a monster, you're going to be disappointed because that's the thing you'll see people complain about is performance.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
30 minutes, bro.
I can't smell every dollar. It's like 30 minutes.
Yeah. It only smells like $30 to me. $1 a minute.
Yes.
So here we go. Do you wear a fragrance your wife loves, but you don't like too much? While you're sipping, I'll answer. No, I don't wear anything I don't enjoy. Now, if we're going to be in close quarters doing something just the 2 of us, I'm going to opt for something she really enjoys. But there isn't really something that she really enjoys that I don't thoroughly enjoy too. Because I obviously we enjoy a vast amount of aromas. We have large collections. We constantly train our nose and get different experiences. So if it's something that the wives really enjoy, 10 out of 10 times, it's going to be something we really enjoy too. I mean, the likelihood of us being like, I really don't want to wear that, pretty low, I would say.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm going to give a slightly prickly take on this. And I mean this, this is not geared towards Jason at all, right? This is geared towards kind of the average behavior I see out there. First of all, to answer the question, just like Ross said, I don't wear anything I don't like. If I don't like it, I'm not wearing it. There are things I don't care for quite as much as other things that Grace might love more than me. One of them is like Percival. I wouldn't say that's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I know my wife really loves it in the air when I wear it. So I wear it with her in mind. But there is a part of me that still likes a good part of the scent. But I do think that a wide behavior in this community is people actually wearing stuff they don't really care about for other people, especially like single guys trying to impress people. It's like to put something on your skin that becomes a part of you that you present as you because no one can see it, and to not like it is mind-blowing to me.
Or just think it's okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily not like it. It's just like, man, I'd rather wear this, but I haven't gotten a compliment.
Exactly. Yeah,
You know?
yes, case in point there. I've seen so many people say, I don't really care about Dior Sauvage at all. In fact, I hardly like it, but its track record is proven. It just works. It gets
Gets
compliments,
compliments, bro.
bro, at the end. Yes, indeed. And to that, when you hear that, you're like, okay, that's pretty harmless. But then when I've seen that just compound over the years, that kind of sentiment, I'm just like, that's kind of sad. Really? So if no one gave you a compliment, would you wear it? I doubt it.
No,
So it's
most
like,
people are going to say no.
yeah, so it's like if there's no confirmation of it and you wouldn't wear it if there's no confirmation, like I think that's a sign. Like maybe you're not being real. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be that deep. I know some people are like, it doesn't have to be that serious, bro.
That's
Why are you
exactly
taking
what I
it
was
so
about to bring up.
serious?
When
Yeah.
we touch on stuff like this, we get clapped back and flack
Yeah.
for it. It's like, man, why wouldn't I wear something? I want people to think I get it.
Yeah.
But Justin's point trumps all, because it's like, if you're not enjoying it, why would you
Yeah.
wear it? It doesn't matter if you get 100 compliments today, or you have to live in it, because you're not going to be
Yes.
around all 100 of those people every hour that it's on your skin, every minute that it's on your
Exactly.
skin. You're, like I call it, living in the sillage.
Yeah.
It's a part of you for a certain time of your day. You have to enjoy it. You don't want it to be like, man, I hope I don't smell it again. I'm kind of sick of it. You don't want it. That happens. You get sick of it. Maybe when
Yeah.
you first spray it, it smells great. 20 minutes later, you're over it. But it's going to be on you for another
Yeah.
10 hours.
Yes.
You know?
It's like, but people, I did a video a few months ago using an analogy of like, imagine there's this eye patch that you see all across social media, and you see people wearing it, and you see people saying like, guys, if you wear this eye patch, you're going to get insane compliments. Like everyone is going to compliment you. And so you're like, okay,
I just
well,
thought of eye patch reviews.
yeah. And then you're like, well, okay, I do like the idea of getting compliments. Let me just pick it up. I'll take their word for it. I'll pick it up. I'll put it on. I'm looking in the mirror. You're like, okay, this is not me at all. But they said it's going to get
kind of don't like seeing out of one eye, but all right.
Yeah. So then you're just like, okay, let me give it a try. You go out on your first day. You come home with 25 compliments.
Sick eye patch, bro.
Yes. And it's like, the question is it worth it? Like, are you picking it up based on that? I know it's a
That's a
ridiculous
hilarious
example.
analogy. An
You
eye
know.
patch of all things. Because it's so ridiculous. I get it. That's
I
why
know.
it's being used, because it's just so absurd.
Yeah, but it's like, would you pick it up if it was like, I know it's hard to throw this word around, but if it was guaranteed that you are getting compliments, like, or your money back, sort of thing, kind of thing, are you getting it? Are you picking it up?
You can see dudes walking around with the fake Louis Vuitton eye.
Yes, seriously, man. That's just a different reality
my
that I'm
God.
glad we don't live in. But it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, how far would you go to outside of who you think you are to get compliments, just to be affirmed by others, right? And that's the thing we have to kind of battle with your whole lives. How much am I authentic to me versus, am I fitting in and not stirring the pot and being likable? Like, you're always kind of balancing between the two in some way, until hopefully we just get the encouragement to realize, like, well, how about I just be me? I'll be respectful, but I'll be me. And if there's people who don't get down with that, there's a lot of people in this world. I'll find other friends. It's all good.
So I'll put it this way. Find something, because not everybody wants to have what we have as far as the options. Okay. You know what? You might want 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally much more respectable than 1,500. Makes a way more sense. Anyways, so find something you really enjoy. It puts you in a good headspace. It lifts your mood. It evokes a new level of confidence for you when you spray it on. You just feel good about yourself. A compliment will be a byproduct of that boost for yourself, that boost of self-image and feeling. And the compliment may or may never come.
Yeah.
But let it be a byproduct of that, what you're doing for yourself. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Do what brings forth your best self, and other things will come along with that in certain situations.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it, I think.
You know, and I totally agree. And the one thing I want to say for clarity, for my explanation is it doesn't matter what the fragrance is. I'm not saying you need to go get you these super artistic, complex, niche fragrances. No, that's not what we're talking about. It could be anything, whatever actually moves you, regardless of what anyone else says. It could be Sauvage. If you put on Sauvage and you feel like the youest you ever, every time you wear it, no matter what anybody says, even if you put up an L every day in terms of compliments, if you still love it, then great. That is you've reached the pot of gold. That is what we're trying to do with this hobby, is find those things you love that doesn't matter what anyone else says. As Ross was saying, if you're like living in your own authenticity with your scent and you get that compliment, bonus. Ding, 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 ding. Like, good job. Amazing.
Let it be a byproduct. It's the exact same
Fantastic.
thing I say when I get asked about starting a channel. Go into it with the energy of, I'm just so into this and so passionate about it. And I feel like I know what I'm talking about to a certain extent that I want to go create content on it. Go into it with that. Don't go into it with, I'm going to get free bottles. I'm going to make money. I'm going to get to quit my job at some point. That's the wrong attitude.
And I've seen
it's the same principle here.
It can be difficult
go into it to
bring
the best you out, and the other things will fall into place. Let everything else be a byproduct.
Yeah.
Of bringing forth your best self.
Totally. I see the Emperor left a comment. I'm sorry. I'm getting that eye patch, guys.
I knew it. I knew you were going to start this. I knew it.
Oh my God.
You're going to see eye patch reviews. There's going to be brands making their eye patches.
Top 10 sexiest eye patches of 2024.
Panty dropping eye patches. It's coming.
That is hilarious, man. Oh my God.
So if Sauvage makes you feel like him dunking, then just rock it unapologetically.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter what the fragrance is. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
And look, if somebody wants to criticize you because you're part of this online community, it's like, and Sauvage is played out. Sauvage, fuck them. Who cares? If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
That's all that matters.
People around you like the way you smell, and you like the way you smell. I don't understand what that random person on the internet's factoring in for.
That's real, man.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't even see the time.
See, we get a little controversial with our opinions.
I got to get going. Unfortunately, I just saw my it's been 2 hours. Yeah,
so with that said, we'll go ahead and shut it down here. We just hit right over the 2 hour mark. Justin, thank you for sparing 2 hours of your day with us, man. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Pleasure, man. Yeah, this was a blast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And thanks for
look, next time we rank some fragrances like this, get out of my head for number 1 and 2.
Yes, we will find a way to really have a divergence and diversity there.
Guys, I know before Justin goes, I know we spoke very passionately about some of our favorites from this brand. That's real passion for these scents. And I would encourage you, if anything you heard here today about any of these fragrances makes you feel like you need to get your nose on these, don't blind buy these bottles. Don't say, oh, I got that bonus came in. It won't hurt me to drop 5. Don't do that. Go to Decan X, go to Decan House, go to Scent Split, go to any of them, really. If you want to help support Justin's channel to make better, more content in the future for you guys, Decan X, Stay Fresh 15, save yourself 15%, and or any of the others. As long as you guys are sampling first, because no matter how good some of these smell, no matter how much we love them, there's no guarantees for you, and you could potentially waste a lot of money. So please, for me, sample first. Don't blind buy these fragrances.
Yeah, you will not be sorry. You will not be like, man, I wish I had spent $500. Why didn't I do that?
Before you go, my man.
No, again, just everyone, thank you guys for hanging around. Thanks for supporting and engaging. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one, whatever it's going to be. I'm sure it'll be good.
And if you enjoyed this and you didn't see our sister stream, I guess you could look at it. It's a similar topic. Parfums de Marley over on Justin's channel. Yeah, definitely go check that out. That was another fun time for sure, with some wild random antics at one point, and just there's a lot to see. I'm not going to spoil it. You got to go watch to see what I'm talking about. I appreciate the super chats. Welcome to the new members. Thank you all so much. Check out today's videos from both of us if you haven't checked them out yet and you want to keep the party going with me and Justin's content. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a great rest of your day and hopefully a positive start to the second half of the week.
Yes, indeed, everyone. Take care.